Hey everybody, it's Mark Zachary with Next Step Home Loans, and today we have Lisseth DeLeon, and we have a podcast and we have interviews of many different agents around town, and we are picking the agents that are very successful in what they do, and not only in the volume that they do, but their ability to keep in balance their work life balance. And so today we have Lisseth DeLeon. She's one of the most well respected uh, realtors in the area. And we appreciate her joining us today. We're going to ask her a few questions about what makes her different than anybody else and things like that. So, Lisseth, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So we always like to start off with Lisseth. Tell me your story. How did you end up here? How did you end up in the real estate business? Where did you grow up? Just let us know who you are. Tell us your story.
Okay. I was originally born in Nicaragua. I came here when I was 9 years old. I have four siblings. I have two brothers and two sisters. I am the second to the oldest, which means the boy is an oldest. So I'm literally the oldest. You know how that is.
Yeah.
Um, I went to Barbara Jordan High School for careers and U of H. Grew up in the north side of town in Houston.
Okay.
Um, I worked in corporate America. I worked as a co-op student at Texaco. I started my career in petroleum since the age of 17. So I worked in corporate America for 22 years
Wow.
in upstream oil and gas. So fast forward, I was part of the executive team. It was very successful. I loved it. However, my father got sick with um, bladder cancer
Oh, okay.
back then. So when my dad got sick with bladder cancer and we found out in 2013, um, I was the only one that was financially stable enough to take off work and take care of him, to take him. He had multiple surgeries and his chemo and such. So once he got better and he went into remission, um, I stayed home because, the oil and gas industry completely changed.
Yeah.
So I have a 29-year-old. And at that time, she had just had a baby. She made me grandma very early,
Okay.
29, but I had to deal with it. And she was working at a credit union, and she came home with a memo, and it said that unless she wore neutral undergarments and certain type of clothing, that she was going to be returned home. And I was like, they pay you $10 an hour, girl. you know. So I said, quit that job. And she was, what do you want to do? I said, I don't know. I'll figure it out. I promise you. I had gotten my real estate license I had gone to school in 2008.
Okay.
Unfortunately, at that time, I found out I was sick myself. I had cancer back then, and I
Okay.
went through a divorce that year. So I didn't take the test. So I went to sleep that night, and I promise you, I woke up and real estate was on my mind. And I told my daughter that morning, I said, we're going to become realtors. And she said,
Really?
what? Yes. That was in 2015. And I said, yes, we're going to become realtors. I said, quit your job. I'm paying for your classes. So where we went, and in March of 2015, we went to Champion School of Real Estate in the Energy Corridor.
Yeah.
We did our test. We started with, it was always a mother-daughter duo, right? But being a big fish where I came from, and then real estate was so intimidating because there was so much to learn. People think is, oh, let me just get in a house, get my commission, and I'm done. Well, I do my research, and I'm really big about that. So I wanted to be good at what I did. So one of the things that I did when I first started was I started backwards to learn the real estate market. And that's how I got into real estate. My passion, of course, came with the people and the things that I did. And then every day you learn something new and whatever. But I know you asked me where I come from. So that's basically a little bit of my background.
Yeah.
I am married. I am married. I have two granddaughters and I have two exceptional kids. My daughter is actually now my office manager and my transaction coordinator for the
All
team.
right. Man,
Yes,
that's
she's so bossy.
nice.
That's the job she has to have.
Yeah.
And she's really good at what she does.
Now,
And
what is her name?
her name is Vanessa Littler.
Vanessa. Okay. Okay.
Vanessa. So I have Vanessa, and I have an 18-year-old that actually had his districts yesterday for wrestling.
Okay.
And he's 18 years old, and he'll be graduating this year. And he wants to go to U of H. So
You know, I've never gone to a wrestling match, but I have a friend of mine. You may know him, Mike Snyder. He is a title rep down in Katy, and he said, "Man, you need to go to a wrestling match. They are so much fun to go to." So how did he do yesterday?
I actually never enjoyed football when he played football. He did band, he did football, and he wanted to be a big football player. But then when he started, got a little bit of taste of wrestling. Oh my goodness, that
Really?
was it. It was game over. Yes. He did very well. Thank you. He'll be going to state next weekend.
Wow.
So he
Good
was kind of
deal.
disappointed in himself because he wanted, he always competes for number one. And I always tell him, I said, baby, even if you lose, that's still winning because you take a lesson from what you did wrong.
Yeah,
But
I like
he's
that.
still 18, so
I like that.
you know how that is.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about. Well, before I forget, you said you learned from the backwards, from the back up. Explain what does that mean exactly? You learned this business from the. I don't remember the exact phrase you used, but from the end to the
So
beginning. So would you
so
say?
I'm not a lender. I'm not a lender. Being a Hispanic and be work since I work with such a diverse group of people working in the oil and gas industry,
Yeah.
um, from all sorts of different backgrounds. One of the things that I learned is that you can't judge a book by its cover. And as you know, as touche as that sound is so true because you can't, so you have to learn. So one of the things that I learned is just because a person speaks perfect English and they look Anglo-American, they can be Canadian and they don't qualify for a traditional conventional loan. They may need a 19 loan,
Yeah.
or a loan from, in which we've done those, where you get the background from their job while they live over international waters, and because they're citizens of another country.
Hmm.
But there's, so what I wanted to do, one of the things that I learned early on, and I swear it was one of my first deals was probably like pulling teeth. You have no idea how much I learned, and that's when I was determined I was going to learn. And I had this lady that moved from Florida. She was a referral. So just imagine, we're talking about 8 years ago, okay, how the market different was. She
Yeah.
was getting a $235,000 house, and the house, um, I had to give this lady from Florida a 40% referral. And this lady had perfect credit, perfect credit. She was given $100,000 down.
Hmm.
She insisted on using Bank of America, which of course I didn't. I didn't know anything about anything then, right? So we get up to a few days of closing and they drop her like a hot cake, and I have no idea what the heck is going on. So
Oh,
one of the things was that her husband went from a W-2 job for 16 years to a 1099. You can't do that. A lot of people don't know that. You have to have 2 years of 1099 under your
right.
belt filed for you to qualify for that. Even though he had excellent credit, he had some, more than a little bit. He had half down. It wasn't good enough. So long story short, I was with Century 21 at that time.
Okay.
I was literally the first one in the office every day. I was there at 7 every morning, creature of habit, right? From corporate, you know. So I was there every morning. When I tell you I spent for literally 3 weeks on the phone talking and learning and meeting with lenders about their products. I wanted to know about their products. I wanted to know what a conventional loan was, what an FHA, what the I-10 loan, what the ins and outs were, what the exceptions, what do you
Okay.
need, what. So I made that my passion. So I closed the lady. Today, I'm literally the family realtor. I think I have closed about 17 people from her family that have either moved here, purchased, sold, referrals. I kid you not. But one of the things that I do that I say I started backwards is a lot of realtors think that it's just about, oh, we have to look cute. A lot, uh, you know, cute hair, cute dudes, cute car,
Yeah.
cute whatever. That's not what it's about. It's knowledge. And I have a team of girls, and one of the things I tell them, it's knowledge is power. You want to educate these people. I always tell my clients, I'm going to educate you in this process. I don't consider myself a salesperson. I want to be part of your journey. And I don't want to be your realtor for one transaction. I want to be your realtor for life, you
Yeah.
know. So one of the things that I do is I actually care. That's number one thing, because I learned to love the people that I work with. Some people, very, very rare, you say, thank you, good luck, don't call me, I won't call you.
Yeah.
I'm glad we
Well,
did this.
yeah, I think that
But
this industry is full of agents that are just so transactional focused. They
yes,
don't worry about the next 17 that this person was able to give you
and
because you took care of them.
that's really rare. So one of the things that I do is I tell the girls like, okay, so I vet them. I do what you do even before I send them to my lender. And then I have great relationship with some lenders that before I call Mark and I say, okay, before I send them to Mark, I need to know, hey John, so tell me a little bit about you. What do you do? How long have you been at your job? Did you file your taxes? On
Yeah.
your 1099, how much did you write off? How much was your ending? We need to see that before we can tell you. How's your credit? Do you pay child support? Do you get social security? You know, on your total debt, your total credit cards, how much is your minimum payment every month if you could? Do you have
Yeah.
do you have student loans? Tell me,
Yeah.
I try to get as much information as possible so
Hmm.
that one, I know what when I come to you, I say, hey, Mark, because I like to make the introduction and as you know, hey, this is, John Doe. He's looking to purchase. He's a first-time home buyer. Of course, if they are able to get the 0% down, not down payment loan, not a government down payment loan, um, would tell you if they have money. I always tell them, treat me like your lawyer. You have to treat me like your lawyer. So
Tell me
if something
everything.
happens and we come across something, we can fix it. We can help you fix it.
Yeah.
So we, do you qualify for the 100% loan? Do you qualify for that $10,000 grant? Do you qualify for the MCC program? If you don't, don't worry about if that grant, you don't have the grant for your closing costs, because one of the things that I'm really, really good at and I'm really aggressive is trying to get the seller to help pay for all your closing costs, if not most of your closing costs.
Yeah.
I leave it to my lenders and their discretion because they know what the heck they're doing and they have all this great experience for them to get you into the best program. A lot of people think that getting down payment assistance is, you know, something that they want. I educate them on, and I literally draw. I get together with them. Do you know what a loan is? And I literally do two columns: FHA and conventional. And then what do? I tell them these are the requirements. Your credit score, your debt to income ratio, what it has to be. Do you know what mortgage insurance? I explain what mortgage insurance. You pay mortgage insurance on an FHA loan for the life of the loan. And I go through the whole in explaining that to them. And then once I do that, you know, they're like, oh wow, So they're more into purchasing a house and they get more excited. And of
Sure.
course, one of the things that you educate them on is I also have this. People say, I'd rather rent for another year. Why rent for another year? I have a girl that pre-pandemic before um, COVID, she insisted on buying us. She wanted a mobile home, and I said no, don't. She said it's just my son and I said don't buy a mobile home. She bought a little house over there off of Champion Forest and
Yep.
249, and by the Willowbrook Mall. She bought it for 140. We were able to sell it for 225. She lived in it 15 months.
Is that right?
So one of the things is that she was gonna pay on the mobile home that would have not built as much equity. One of the things is that I teach them is this. It gives you literally the multiply. So if you pay $1,500, which you know that's almost non-existent nowadays,
Mhm.
on a one-bedroom apartment, and I can, and you live in that one-bedroom apartment for 5 years, you threw away $90,000 that you could have built equity on a house.
Right.
That house would have built, probably a little bit less than that much equity in 2 years' time.
Yeah, I think
So
you have so many people right now complaining about what the rates were, but when you're renting, you're paying 100% interest because everything you pay goes to that landlord, and you get no benefit whatsoever. So, wow, that's
yes.
pretty impressive the way you run your business. So, tell me a little bit about your team and how big is it? And what they what they focus on. Do you have marketing reps? So tell me about your team. Because what I'm
So
getting at here is, if somebody was wanting to join a team, are you looking to grow your team, or are you guys pretty happy where you're at? So just tell me a little bit about your team.
I am looking to grow my team. So if there's anyone out there that, and with all due respect, I know this sounds really pompous, the way I'm going to say it. So I apologize in advance. Is I don't interview most of the time when people get their real estate license, they interview the broker, correct? To see if you're a fit. But that broker's taking a piece of your pie. They want to take everybody.
Yeah.
For me, you have to be a right fit for my team. Okay. You have to be coachable. You have to want to learn, and you have to be in this at least for 2 years for me. Okay.
Okay.
I have a very dynamic and diverse group of girls that I work with. Not even girls, women. I
Mhm.
apologize. So, um, one of the things that I do is I'm really big on marketing. I'm really big on anybody can walk around with the baby wipe behind you and give you, oh, yes, yes, yes. I give you, I don't give you what you want to hear. I give you what you need. And I have a good relationship with the lenders that I work with, that I could say, hey, Mark, this and this is going on with this client, whatever. And we'll find a way to get around it to that, where that person can get to the finish line.
Mhm.
But one of the things that is for me, it's about educational, because we learn to love you. I've given money out of my pocket because they weren't able to close, or something happened or whatever. But with the transactions and the amount of transactions that we close, even when people were slow, I was still closing 12 to 15 transactions a month with the
Wow.
girls. I have a girl on my team. Her name is Rebecca, and she started with me. It'll be 1 year this month, at the end of this month,
Okay.
that she'll be with me. Her first transaction happened in March, and she got paid. So as soon as I finish training you, when you first start with me, you have to hit the ground running, okay? So I'll give you your first deals. And one of the things that she did, um, she made $15,000 as a buyer's agent on my team the first month she was with me.
Wow.
For the year, she had to take half of November and December off for a personal matter, but all the way up to November, from April to November, she made $72,000 as a first year agent.
Isn't that something?
So I have Yao on the phone. Her name is Yao Scott. She's excellent. She has this real cute accent. She's actually my first cousin.
Yeah.
And people love her. They meet her and she has this energy on the phone. She sounds like a robot when she answers the phone. It's like, girl, what are you doing? Why do you sound like, because I listen to the
Yeah.
calls when
Yeah.
we I said, why do you sound like that? But when people meet her, I mean, they freaking love her spunk and her personality, and you
Yeah.
know, so and she used to be a nanny for some plastic surgeons for
Mhm.
shoot, years, and the girl makes literally over 100,000 a year now.
Wow.
So right now for this month, and it's a little slow right now. She has 6 deals where she's gonna close for the month of February. So when I tell you that we incur, and then I have Monica, and Monica just started with me in December, and she was with Keller Williams, and she's only been a realtor for 1 year, but she's already working on multiple deals. She's a go-getter. She used to be a teacher. And I have Vanessa, like I said, and Vanessa's also, Vanessa's aggressive. So not only does she run the office and she runs her mom,
Yeah.
but she also has a couple of clients. So she takes 2 or 3 clients a month, you know,
Uh-huh.
um, because she likes to travel, she likes to do things, and of course we all want to, save our little money, and she's planning for a wedding as well. So,
Okay.
I get out there and I have my clients as well because I don't stop working. We do listings. I go on the listing appointments. I do the listings. I'm really aggressive when it comes to that. And then all of my return clients, or somebody calls me or tells me, or if I answer the phone, I'm going to take care of you from beginning to end. And
Hmm.
one of the things that I can tell you that I take pride in is it doesn't matter if you're calling for an $80,000 deal. It could be a $1 million deal or 80,000. You're still gonna get the same respect, the same love, and the same
Yeah.
service that you're gonna get no matter what. I
Well, you
answered the
never know
call.
when that $80,000 deal is going to turn into a second, third home that is $1 million deal. So I think
Oh,
so many
trust me.
people, yeah, they say, well, I don't know, I'm not going to earn very much money on that, so I'm going to hand that one off, or I'm just not going to give it as much attention. But I mean, it's clear that you doing what you do has put you at the top echelon of realtors in the area. I teach a class that says, um, you know, over 90% of agents fail within the first few years, and it's because they're so transactional, and
They are.
they don't look forward to that person referring more and more people because they're always chasing the next deal. So, man, you got it going on for sure. So if you were to look back and back up to when you first started, uh, what would you tell yourself based on what you've learned so far? What would you do differently, or would you do anything differently?
I don't think I would do anything different, to be honest. In the beginning, I was so lucky. One of the things that I am is I'm really big about learning. So, Mark, when I tell you that I would take the same freaking class 3 times because I felt like I always tell the girls, it doesn't matter if it's a different person teaching the same class, go take it. Because when you pick one thing up from that class, the next time you go, you already know that. So then you're going to pick up something else, and then everything starts making sense. And then you can start utilizing into your everyday common sense, if that makes any sense, in real estate, because real estate is not a straightforward line. You could go so many directions. So one of the things that I did was I took a lot of classes. I think if anything, I probably would have taken more classes
Mhm.
than the educational part. And I think the only thing I probably would have done different was push my daughter more in that regards.
Yeah.
Because at the beginning, I think I got to be, because we came from a different culture. So for me, the hands-on, and unless I felt that, like, when I started answering phones, when I started getting to be best of Zillow, and I would answer the phones, Mark, I would have 5 or 6 clients a day, and I was so exhausted all the time. But when I first started answering the phones, I would stay up at night looking at the ceiling and saying, what can I say? How can I educate so I can stand out from all these? Because I've met some really amazing agents. Like when I went to the Best of Zillow conference in Vegas 3 months ago, dude, these people are like, wow. I mean, I've never been starstruck in my life,
Yeah.
but when to see these people, it's like, I want to be like you when I grow up. And that's literally what I love. I love that. I love, but one of the things that I think I would do different is I would probably have been more aggressive. But when I would answer the phones, I would stay in. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I said that. I can't believe I said that.
Yeah.
So now in my training, I tell the girls, we have a whole thing that we talk to the people when we first meet them. And one day I answered the phone and we were having a team meeting, because we even have a team meetings in my house because I have a really big round table,
Okay.
and we'll have breakfast while we have a team meetings, a weekly team meetings. And I answered the phone because I had them doing a task, and my daughter looks over and she goes, is she reading that? And she goes, no, girl. She says it out of her mouth like it's coming the most normal thing. But
Yeah.
when you say, but it's about, mind you, these people have never met. They're scared on the other line too. So it's about earning that. But I think the educational part, and I think I would have probably pushed myself a little bit more
Hmm.
on a lot of things. I've been very lucky because I've had really good. When I find somebody that I feel it is in, it is a mentor, I always show them the appreciation and say, teach me if, I want to learn, or why is this, with my lenders, tell me your products, tell me what it takes, tell me, how, why, when.
Hmm.
So when somebody calls, they've been turned down 3 other times, but then if I take the time to learn the product, I know who to send them to,
Sure.
because you guys that have been in the industry for a long time, you guys know what the heck you're doing. I can call you and I can say, hey, can we do this? You know, you guys are the Donald Trumps of, if there's a loophole, we're gonna find it to
You're
get
gonna
that
find
person,
it.
you know,
That's a
and
good way to
sometimes
put
that's
it.
yeah, and sometimes that's all it takes. Um, I have my neighbor here, and she's a very successful. She has jazzercise studios,
Hmm.
and her daughter's in the market of buying a house, and she had seen one of my posts on Facebook, and so she asked me about it, and we started talking. I tell her, we had a conversation, told her about the progress, whatever. She goes, you know what? I have other realtor friends. She goes, I would never send them to him. She goes, I freaking love the way you explain things in a way to where they understand what the heck they're getting
Do you
yourself
think
into,
you
because
learned
my
that
realtor never did
from
that.
from your uh, from your experience of buying a house yourself? I mean, how old were you when you bought your first house, and how was the experience? Or do you think that the way you do business is a reflection of how you were treated, or the experience that you had when you bought a home?
No, I actually bought my house in 2002, my first home here in Katy, even though I grew up in Nona. So, do you remember? Are you from Houston, Mark?
No, I grew up in Austin. I've been here about 15 years.
Okay. So in 2000 and June of 2001, we had Allison. Do you remember that tropical
Yes.
storm, Allison?
Oh yeah, it's on the news
So
all the
I was 26 years old. My daughter was no, I was 25. My daughter was 6 years old, and um, I lived off behind the FBI building off of there, off of TC Jester
Okay.
and 610. So I went to sleep and I was reading a book. My daughter was in her room, and I woke up to the walls kind of making like cracking sounds.
Oh my gosh.
And I got off the bed and I had water literally past my ankle.
Oh
So
no.
so I lost everything in 2001 to Allison, everything. So that's when I decided somebody, a lender reached out to me as one of the people that I worked at BP at that time. And
Okay.
I guess somebody gave the lender my number, and the lender reached out to me and she said, "Hey, I can help you get in a house with down payment assistance." Because when I tell you I lost everything, I literally walked out with literally my daughter in my shoulders and my clothes on my back. I lost everything, my
Oh my
car,
God.
everything.
Lizette.
Like, so when they rescued us, the water was up to here, and I almost went into a manhole, which I still have the scar on my ankle. But um, it was crazy. So we bought a house here in Katy, off of Fry Road
Uh-huh.
in Morton, and I got into that house. I remember with $500 back then, and that house was 2,700 square feet, formal dining, formal living, upstairs game room, family room, beautiful house, and it was in a cul-de-sac. For me, a little girl from the ghetto, my first house was like, wow, right? It was a blessing. It was like the house. Let me tell you, the first night we spent the night there, I went in the room and I literally put the dresser behind the door like somebody was gonna come in, right? So, but
Funny.
the realtor that helped us, she was really really young back then as well. She's quite beautiful. I looked her up and she stopped being a realtor years and years ago, because I wanted to say hi. When I became a realtor, but it wasn't because of my experience with her, because she was very pleasant. The lender that I was pre-approved with back then, I remember what she looks like, but I could not remember her name even if my life depended on it. So,
Okay.
but the transaction itself, it was it was okay. It wasn't like, oh wow. And see,
Nothing.
that's where I try to, and that's one of the things that I try to do different. I don't have anything in here right now. I, but whenever a person closes, I make a big deal out of it. Like, I give them the DeLeon tequila bottle. That's one of the things they
Oh,
get.
is that
They,
right?
even if they don't drink, just put the bottle away because it looks pretty, right? No, I give it away. But
I
and
need
then
to
I give
work
them a
there.
personalized gift. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
I said I'm going to buy a house with you, so I get the bottle.
It's okay. I got you on the bottle. But when we close 100 deals this year, that's okay.
Well,
So, one of the things that I do a personalized, I do a appreciation
yeah,
party for my clients once a year, and we have raffles, live music, open bar, music.
yeah,
Um, and I, on their first year, the picture that I took of them in front of their house, I have it printed and I send it with a small gift. This is your first year on your first house. Send their little ornament. And I always call just to say hi. It's like, hey, how are you?
yeah, yeah.
Um, I have a gentleman that moved from New York City during the pandemic. They moved right before the pandemic. They moved in November of 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I closed them in December of 2019. Do you know that we're about to list their house? And this kid, when I told him how much he was going to make on that house, living in that house, he had to learn to drive here. They don't, they don't
Yeah,
belong. They're like, they love New York. So they're going back to a one-bedroom apartment, which is beside me, but that's nor here nor there. But they love New York City. When I guess that's the love you have to have, right?
I guess so.
And they're gonna go from a four-bedroom house with an upstairs game room and an office to go back to New York City. But he said that he'd never seen that much money in his life. He's 25 years old. He could not believe, he was floored about how much money he was gonna make just from the equity. But um, I don't like to disappear from the transaction. I like to always be around. So I always call to say hi. I always say Merry Christmas, just thinking about you. Like if they pop up in my head, because I have clients that when we go and I have a Dr. Shepherd. He's really tall. So every time that we went to see a house, he had to get in the shower to see if he fit. under the
I see
shower.
it. Yeah,
So yeah, so even on my time hop when he comes up or I take a picture of him inside, I also know it's like, ha ha ha, thinking about you. I hope you're doing well. They always,
yeah,
you're in, so those people always keep you in mind because you want to be a part of their family. You want to be a part of their story.
yeah, yeah,
I can't tell you how humbling it is when somebody calls you and tells you, and you tell them, hey, we got to clear the clothes, and they burst into tears
yeah.
because to them it's like, wow, I can't believe,
Yeah, because it
this
can be a
happened.
very stressful, situation in some cases, and there's a lot of people out there that think, man, I'll never be able to afford a home, or I don't know the process, and it's so awesome that you explain the process from start to finish, and you grab their hand and you walk them through this process because it can be pretty stressful sometimes. So I'm gonna
It's
switch
a
gears on you a little bit. Tell me something that you have wanted to do uh, personally that you haven't done yet, but you're still planning on doing it.
Personally,
Yeah.
I want to learn how to swim.
Oh, really? You've never learned how to swim? Okay.
I do not know how to swim. I almost drowned when I was a child, and I swear I barely get under the shower.
Really?
I'm
Wow.
kidding. No, but I'm scared. I'm scared of. That's why we don't have a pool. That's the only reason we don't have a pool. I think I want to be floating in that sucker if we do. But I
Oh,
still
God.
remember going to uh, one of those recreational parks when I was married to my first husband when Vanessa was real little. I
Yeah.
think she was like 1 or 2, and we went, and that water slide, and you end up like in a two
Yeah.
foot deal that
Right.
I
Right.
almost drowned in that sucker. It was 2 feet. I'm not kidding.
Oh,
That's such
man.
a story.
So
So
do you have a goal like I want to do it by this time, or it's just something that's out there that you have been thinking about?
yes, I do. So my dad learned how to swim in his 60s. I unfortunately I lost my dad to COVID in 2020.
Oh no,
Um,
I'm so
yes,
sorry.
that. Thank you. So he learned how to swim in his 60s, and I was so proud of him for doing that. And he would always tell me, Liz, come on. It's like, no, Dad, I'm good. So now it's
Yeah.
my bucket list. I turned 49 this month. My goal
Okay.
is to do that before I'm 50
And you turn 50 when?
next year.
Next year. Okay. Well, I'm gonna hold you to that. Gonna hold you to that.
Yes,
All right, so we're
yes.
coming up on 38 minutes, and I told you when we started, it's amazing how fast 30, 45 minutes goes. And, I could sit here and talk forever, but I know you have a lot of transactions working, and you have a lot of things to do today. But so I won't keep you much longer, but I want you to tell me, hey, there is another Lisseth DeLeon sitting in a dead end job, and they're thinking about starting their own business. What what recommendations would you give that individual to go ahead and take that leap of faith to do what they really want to do with their life, and get out of a situation that they really don't want to be in? I mean, we both know there's a lot of people out there that are doing things they don't want to do. They have a $10 job, like you were saying your daughter was in a long time ago. What recommendation would you give that other Lisseth De Leon to jump out there and take the risk?
One of the things that I tell everybody is don't be scared to take the leap of faith. If this is something that you really want to do, even if you fail, even if I still remember when I was with Keller Williams, and I'm sorry I threw the name out there, but I was paying a trainer to, for the first year I was there for training, and we did a board, a vision board,
Yeah.
and exercise. And he said, how much do you want to make your first years in real estate? And I said 250,000. And he laughed. He said, so does everybody else. And I said,
Really?
well, hell. So I would never forget the cynical look on his face. And I promise you, as you know, in real estate, anything can happen. I literally had a client, we were about to close, and this man went and bought a bus. I don't know why he needed a bus, but he went and bought a bus. I've had people do the most outrageous things during a transaction, and I'm sure you know.
Oh
But
yeah.
in real estate or any business, there's a lot of uncertainties. But if you learn what you do, don't take that loss or that failure as you losing. You're losing a battle, not the war. And what you need to realize is get up, dust yourself off, learn what you did wrong or what you could have done different, and do it again.
Yeah.
Do it again. It doesn't matter. Don't kick yourself over it. And one of the things that I can tell you is in my 7 years that I've been uh, in real estate, it's well, 8 years this year. In June, it'll be 8 years. I was actually looking at myself because we're going to the Remax conference this year.
Uh-huh.
I'm just gonna put myself out there, and you know, I have made I'm literally about to be in the Diamond Club, and I'm literally a few thousand away from being there.
And tell me
And
tell everybody what the Diamond Club means.
Diamond Club is when you've made about 3 million in commissions.
Wow. Okay.
I made Hall of Fame in 2020, which I have made over $1 million in commissions. So when I tell you, I did a lot of things. Everything it shows them under me is under my team, but it was really me because I was the one pushing my kid, and then if people started approaching me about growing a team because I was teaching classes. Like I told you, I'm a creature of habit, so I was the first one at the brokerage every morning. So people started asking me questions, and then the broker said, "Can you teach classes?"
Yeah.
You know, and then the broker at Remax Pearland, she had me recruiting people for her because she was like, "Damn, you're good at what you do." But this is the thing. I don't care even if you're on my team or you're not on my team. If you need help, take my number, call me. I'll help you through a transaction. I've even had buyer's agents call me about my listings, and I'll ask them, "Are you a new buyer's agent?" I said, "Okay, so this is what you have to do. Go talk to your broker. I can only tell you so much because I don't want you to." I
Yeah.
said, "But you know, in the future, blah blah blah." And once the transaction's over, they've taken me to lunch to where I've helped them. But I can't tell you if you fall if you really want that success, keep going. Even if you had a bad day, hell, go home, have a glass of wine, go to sleep. The next day, you're starting over. You
Yeah.
can't change what that day had done to you. You cannot change how you felt.
That's so
Make a
good.
difference and make it a new day and a new experience and say, you know what? I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna dust it off.
Yeah.
You know what? True story. I had some transactions go take a left, and I don't know what the heck. It was something in the water. All my transactions literally took a left, and I'm like, I don't even know what the heck to do. I literally had a $3 million cash deal fall on my lap, and it was from the person that you least expect.
Yep.
That because if you'll be surprised. Learn to teach that golden room they used to teach us back then. Be personable. Stop sending text messages. Call people on the phone. Say, hey, how are you? You know,
Yeah.
you see somebody you knew, you see some. I'm not saying go be out of your way. It's people that you already have in your sphere, people that know what you're worth. But if you fall, don't take that as, oh my God, I lost. Don't take that as a loss and you give up. Get up, dust yourself off, think about what you could have done different, that you could have done wrong, and do it again. And you
Yeah.
know what? The next time you do it, I used to say, when I had 5 or 6 clients a day, and I used to go, and mind you, these are people I had never met in my life because these were tour requests.
Mm-hmm.
And power of manifestation is a big deal for me personally. For me, if I would say, okay, I would look at myself in the mirror and say, okay, I'm gonna have 12 clients this weekend, which I kid you not, it used to be that busy for me. I'm not out there anymore like I used to be. And
Hmm.
I'm gonna bring home, when I tell you that I was closing 5 deals a week by myself, I kid you not. You know why? Because I said I'm gonna close them. I'm gonna do this. Okay, I have 5 clients today. I'm gonna bring 5. So if out of the 5, if I brought 3 and I got 3 executor contracts, guess what? That's 3 more than I would have had, which would have been 0 had I not made that for myself. So you have to make
Right.
attainable goals. Don't go make a goal like if I want to get on a diet, I'm not gonna go lose 60 pounds in 3 months. I can't do that. You have to make attainable goals. Okay, I want to lose 10 pounds in a month. If I lose 6, that's 6 less pounds that you have. That's a whole football, you know,
Yeah.
let's say. But the thing is that make yourself attainable goals and you'll be surprised. It's like if you have and I always tell my son this, and I was telling him this the other day, and because he was frustrated with himself because he pushes himself really hard. And I said, if you have a pilot sign over there and I give you a spoon, you're gonna be mad I give you the spoon because it's gonna take you forever. But if you keep doing it, rest assured you're gonna get the freaking. You're gonna do it because you never gave up. If you stop doing it, it's just gonna stay halfway done. I
Right.
said, do it.
Right.
So, sometimes people get smart. Stop using the spoon. Use your hand. Scoop it up like and get it done faster. So sometimes we have to get out of our comfort zone. I gave you a spoon. Doesn't mean you have to use the spoon to get the sand on to the other side.
Interesting.
So whoever's out there that wants to start a journey, whether it's in real estate, whatever it is that your passion is, don't give up. Just learn from whatever you felt that day and don't take it as a loss forever. It's that
Yeah.
day. Just
Yeah.
that day. The next day
So
is
true.
literally a brand new day.
So true. So let's say that somebody wants to, as we wrap this up, they want to start a real estate business. How would they get in touch with you to see if it would be a good fit? And we're just kind of wrapping up. So tell everybody, who you work with. It doesn't matter if you want to mention the company or whatever, but
Oh, you're
your
fine.
team, the way they get in touch with you, and email, phone, however you want to do it, and we'll kind of wrap it up from there.
I literally have one of the easiest numbers in Houston. So
Okay.
if you're definitely interested and you're coachable and you're hungry and this is something that you love to do, if you have an unapproachable face, just don't bother. I want to see a smile. I want to see,
Yeah.
I love. I believe that one of the most beautiful things any human being can attain is humbleness. So I love that about people, and I very much put that my foot where my mouth is with that.
Okay.
So if that's something that you think that you're interested in, I would love to hear from you. Or if hell, if you want to buy a house, I'm here for that too.
There
Or
you
sell
go.
your
That's
house.
exactly right. That's
So
right.
my phone number is 713-545-1515.
Oh, that is easy.
Yes, it's a Houston area code, 713, and then 545-1515.
Now,
And
would
I
they
work
ask for you or one of
with
your teammates, or what's the best
no,
route?
this is me. This is my direct cell phone number, and I've had the
Oh,
same phone number for 23 years.
wow.
So that is
Okay.
my direct cell phone number, and I've had the same number since 1999, not 98.
Wow.
So I've had the number. I've had my phone number forever. You're welcome to call me or text me.
Okay.
You can all I work. You can also find me and on Facebook or Instagram, even TikTok. Lisseth DeLeon. I'm with Remax Universal, and I'm the team lead for the DeLeon group.
Okay. Okay. Give us that number one more time.
713-545-1515.
Great. Lizette, I can't thank you enough for sharing 45, 50 minutes with us today. And guys, as you're watching this, the reason that we started this is to introduce you to the top agents in the Houston area. And Lizette is doing it the right way. She's building a legacy that she can leave to her family because she's doing it the right way. I mean, just the fact that she gets 17 transactions out of one person that she closed, years ago tells you that she's doing it the right way. So if you're looking for a great realtor to represent you, or if you're looking for a great team to go join, call her. She gave her number. See if it's a good fit, and chase that dream that she was talking about. And Lisseth, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, you bet. And I'm Mark Zachary with Next Step Home Loans. We do loans all over the state of Texas, refinances, purchases, and all that kind of stuff. I've been doing it 28 years. So if we can answer any questions for you on the mortgage side, certainly let us know, and we'll be glad to give you all that information. Information is free where I come from. And so give us a call. We'll answer the question. And Lisseth will do the same thing if you have real estate questions as well. So Lisseth, any last minute comments or parting comments?
No, sir. Thank you so much for everything.
Okay. Thank you so much, guys. And we'll have another great realtor on next week. But today it was Lisseth DeLeon, and thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.